3, and this morning we have new information about the brutal massacre of a family in Brooklyn.
Yeah, 4 children are among the victims, including a 1-year-old. Craig Treadway is live outside Brooklyn Criminal Court with more details on this gruesome story. Craig.
Suki and Corey, the chief of the department, Philip Banks, says it's something that no one would ever forget. An entire family, including the children, slashed and stabbed to death. And the suspect says he took their lives because he was unhappy with his own.
He made a very soft comment that since he's been in this country, everyone seems to be doing better than him.
And that, police say, may have led to 25-year-old Mingdong Chen's knife-wielding rampage through the home of his cousins. By the time he was done, 1-year-old William Zhuo, 6-year-old Amy, and 9-year-old Linda Zhuo were all dead, stabbed in the neck with a butcher knife. Police and emergency crews rushed their mother, 37-year-old Qiao Zhen Li, and 5-year-old brother Kevin Zhuo to the hospital, but were unable to save them. Relatives say Chen had been acting strangely, unable to hold down a job, and had been bouncing from place to place since illegally arriving in this country in 2004. Qiao Zhen Li reportedly tried calling her husband at work to talk about Chen's erratic behavior. Relatives went to check on the family Saturday night, and upon seeing Chen, knew something horrible had happened.
At some point, he opens the door, and they see that he's covered with blood.
Police recovered the butcher knife at the scene. Chen surrendered to cops without a fight and was walked to the cruiser, his bare feet still stained with his victim's blood. Once at the precinct and during questioning, Chen assaulted a police detective. Well, that charge will be added to the numerous counts of first and second-degree murder he'll answer for here at Brooklyn Criminal Court later this morning. Live in downtown Brooklyn, Craig Treadway, Pix 11 News. Corey, Suki, back to you.
All right, Craig, it's still unclear really what pushed the suspect over the edge.
Yeah, here to offer some insights is forensic psychologist Dr. Buzz von Orsteiner. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
And I guess just help us understand,
Sure.
Because these 4 kids didn't do anything to anybody. I mean, a 1-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 9-year-old, they didn't do anything to anybody. Right. How can somebody kill 4 kids?
No, and thankfully this doesn't happen too often. And these children, unfortunately, were practically killed execution style. It's my understanding, reportedly, that 2 were decapitated. So you're really looking at the children represent, I suppose, the father, the cousin, the parents. You're getting even in one very primitive way. You're getting even with whom you believe is your oppressor. Whoever this individual thought his cousin was supposed to do for him, he wasn't helping him enough, or the individual, after 8 years of being here, is just so miserable, has so much anger and resentment based on his own circumstances, that he doesn't blame himself or take accountability for his situation, but then blames others.
You were talking about the suspect and how he was bouncing around from job to job, didn't have a real place to go. His cousin also offers him a home, and we're talking about how he felt sort of threatened by him, by his wealth, by his happiness, the fact that he had 4 children who were thriving, his wife, all the things that he couldn't have in China.
Yeah, absolutely. It skews our brain, but if we can go back and realize that this is a illegal immigrant who came here at 15, coming from China, where the most families only have 1 child. Most families are only allowed to have 1 child. He comes over here illegal. He cannot master the language. He has had minimal success in finding work. He's not feeling a sense of belonging. He feels powerless. He's seeking power within a country where he clearly doesn't feel he belongs, and then he's living once again with a family over a week's time, but he sees 4 children who are thriving, who speak English, who are American citizens, who are going to school, who are going to be something with their lives, all the things he lacks, and this breeds resentment.
Yeah, what really pains me is that people were trying to tell him he's crazy, trying to get him out of the apartment. She had the wife actually call the husband, was unable to reach him. The sister-in-law was the one that actually came to find this bloody, gruesome, horrible sight. I just can't even imagine it.
Well, the thing is, when we're faced with this, everybody's had lousy roommates. Everybody's had situations where you want the person out. Everyone has had contact with people who they unfortunately, whether they're family or not, view as emotional and financial burdens. And the person is aware of that. So you're living in this environment where you're not contributing, you're probably sleeping on the floor, you're taking people's food, and of course the pressure is what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? How are you going to support yourself? How are you going to make yourself accountable for your situation? And this is over an 8-year period. I'm not saying that this is a natural, normal outcome, but it gives us an idea where psychologically that person might have been.
All right, thank you very much, forensic psychologist Dr. Buzz von Ornsteiner. Thank you so much for coming in.
Sure, thanks for having me.
We appreciate that.
Live from New York, the Pix 11 Morning News with Sukanya Krishnan and Corey Chambers.